on serious. My lyrics meet the criteria. They stick on you like bacteria. Put my trust in the one who's superior. Praise be to God, so they call me Miriam. They be coming for me, hating on me.
Hey everybody, I'm Monty. I want to thank you for investing in the Shareholders Podcast in conjunction with Channel 5. And we got a special interview today, guys. Now, it's a guest that you know. He's been on some shows, some Channel 5 shows. He's supported, of course, giving some great insights. But we got him on special today for one of the just an amazing moment and a proud day for what he did. But let's welcome again Mr. Todde Webb back to the show. How you doing, Webb?
It's all good, all good. Good to be here, Monty.
Man, great to have you. Great to have you. So let's get right into it. You know, I don't watch like per se the news, like channel, you know, NBC or ABC News, things like that. You know, I'm kind of like all the young folks, whatever. I get my news on the internet. You know what I mean? Google alerts, all that stuff. It's kind of it. But I remember I was leaving the gym and I was on my iPad, but I remember seeing something across the thing come across, and it said how guns were recovered from a couple area high schools, and I saw Mojave High School, and I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. As soon as I saw Mojave High School, I was like, Webb has something to do with that. I already knew without seeing it across the ticker. And as it turns out, you had a big part in that. And guys, we're coming to you. For those who don't know, if you don't truly know me, I'm from Michigan, born in Lansing, and Webb's my cousin. And we both grew up in Michigan, grew up in Lansing. And of course, we are still sending out a lot of prayer and a lot of love to our Lansing family, Michigan State, who suffered a terrible mass shooting there. And shout out to all those there. Just had a big game. Coach Izzo spoke very well, and a shout out to there. So kind of just in the aftermath of that. And then for those that don't know, again, Webb works at Mojave High School, and we'll get more into that as well. But there was basically a situation, I'm going to let you kind of take it from here, of what happened and how you kind of intervened on the scene at Mojave High School.
First of all, you know, I appreciate you letting me on and share this incredible moment. All by the grace of God. You know, I take no credit for it. I just want to say that up front. Last week, end of the week, Friday, my office, our working was called the Student Success Office. It's formerly known as the Dean's Office, right? At the high school. And we got an alert from a guardian of a student that some things were stolen from the house, two by which were handguns. And to be on the lookout, because she believed that the student was headed to school, right? And immediately, because, you know, we had procedures in place, you know, for the active school shooter and all that type of stuff. You know, my boss and I, we decided that we were going to keep this hush hush in terms of alerting the whole building, right? And setting off panic, right? Because you don't want to do that, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we let a few individuals in particular know there's one entrance into the school, right? So we let the switchboard, the young ladies down at the switchboard know. We gave them a picture of the young man, and I gave them specific instructions. If he walks through the door, you know, don't excite him, don't alert him, don't by any means approach him in any way, shape, or form that's going to, you know, make him probably do something, you know, out of character, right? Just let him come on in this school and get on the radio and radio me and let me know. I came up with a signal. Let me know, say, the Krispy Kreme donuts at the switchboard. That was our little signal, right? Not to, you know, alert him, right? So Friday didn't show up. We were prepared every hour on the hour, all the way through the.
So, okay, real quick. So you got the call before the student had gotten to the school that possibly there's a situation where some items from home were missing. So that person was not yet on the campus yet that you knew.
No.
Okay.
Well, at the time we didn't know.
Okay.
We
I
didn't
see.
know. When we got the phone call,
Got
myself and my team, went to his class and we checked his class. And then again, I had to kind of like, decoy, right? I had a student's ID, and I knocked on the door and I asked for this particular student. Is this student here? Did somebody lose the ID? Right? And the teacher got up and said, "He said, well, the student is not in class." I was like, okay. And I kind of surveyed the classroom and went on about my business. And I checked the other couple, hot spots where kids like to go when they skip class, right? So we went down to the gym area, went outside on the soccer field, nothing, right? And kind of checked on some of his friends that he likes to hang out with, nothing. Nobody had seen him. So I was like, okay, I was pretty sure that he wasn't on campus. And at that point, I went down and talked to the girls at the switchboard and let them know, hey, just be calm, cool. He walked by, don't do nothing to excite him. Just give Krispy Kreme donuts, switchboard, right? So we did this all day Friday and got to the end of the day, no show, right? So we were like, cool, that's a win, right? Monday, we had Monday off, of course. So Tuesday rolls around and same plan is in place. And the young ladies to a T, they gave a shout out. I was busy working on something else in another classroom, but it's like 2 minutes. I got to my office. They were like, "Where?" Student was spotted going into the restroom in a quad. I was like, "Is that right?" So I hollered at one of the campus security monitor, "Hey, roll with me. I think we got. I'll refer to him as student X is in that bathroom." So we on our way down, and I'm thinking, what's my next move, right? Because I got to have a plan going in because I don't want to alert him. I don't want to alarm him. I don't want to put him in a position where, he feels threatened. So when I get down there, I said, listen, let me handle this. And I positioned the campus security guards at different places, right? Where couldn't look like a sting or a setup or anything like that. So I go into the restroom, and the first thing I do is I look under, and I see feet under the stalls. I'm like, okay, cool. He is in here. I only saw the one set of feet, right? I'm like, how am I going? So it was water on the floor, right? And I was like, you know what? And I just made an announcement. I'm gonna shut this restroom down because I believe it might be a pipe leak. I see all this water on the floor. I said, so do your business, wash your hands, come on out, and so I can lock it up. So I backed up out and kind of waited a couple seconds, and I did hear a stall flush. I was like, okay, cool, here he come, right? So walks out, not him. So it was another student. I'm like, right? I said, okay. I said, oh, wait right here, right? So I go back in, look again, and I saw another set. So I make the announcement again. I said, okay, listen, you got to come out now because with that flushing, I think that might have was going to cause. So you got to come out now. It's urgent to come on out, man, and just So he walks out, right? Have said, hey, what's going on, man? How you feeling? I'm good, Webb. I said, all right. I said, you got a pass? He said, no, I just got here a few minutes ago. Right. I said, all right. I said, you know what? So nobody give you no grief about walk around with a pass. Come on, I'll write your pass upstairs in my office. He didn't have a clue. Right. So I'm thinking, how do I keep him distracted on my way to the office? So I turned to the first kid that I had ushered out, and I said, man, let me see your pass, because he had a pass. Lo and behold, his pass was filled out incorrectly. There was no time on it. I said, so I'm just, okay, roll with this. You got to roll with this. I'm like, man, you didn't fill the pass out right. Time ain't right, man. You ain't got the, this and that. And I'm fussing with him all the way through, kind of steer, to kind of like keep my man's focus on the other dude's business without him thinking, oh, Webb has walked me up here, for something. So all the way, I said, let's take the elevator. My knee is bothering me today. I said, let me just take the elevator, right? Because I noticed, another administrator had got on the elevator. I'm like, hey, hold that elevator for us. We going upstairs to get these passes, right? And I'm boom, boom, boom. I'm pumping it up, right?
So okay, now quickly, at this point, how much of the staff is even aware that this is even a person of interest, if you will, that might have something or might not? How many people anybody else know but you and the security person?
Zero.
Wow, okay.
Nobody knows.
Okay.
Nobody knows. As a matter of fact, other administrators were in a meeting, and I think they had gotten the word that Webb was has his kid in the restroom, right? So they were actually, if I can say this, man, this is all, I believe this is orchestrated to God, the timing of it all. Because as I was approaching the elevator, the administrator that got on the elevator, she didn't know what was going on.
Mhm.
She was, when the information got to the others, she was in the bathroom. So she just got on the elevator to go to her office. She didn't have a clue. Another administrator was kind of like beckoning, because a boy was walking in front of me. Other kid was next to me that I was fussing at about this pass, right? My man, he don't have a clue, right? Because man, this pass is incorrect, man. You ever disrespect my hallway again? This is my best Joe Clark. And I'm fussing at him and everything. And he's like, wait, why are you tripping up my pass? And I was just like, just roll with it, man, roll with it, right? So the other male administrator sees him. He like, Webb. I'm like, dude, I got this, man. I got it, right? And
I see. So he's, yeah.
Right. He was about ready to go tackle the dude. I'm like, no, man. I said, we good, man. He going to get a pass from my office. So just, right. I said, only on the elevator, man. So student X gets on the elevator. The administrator is already on the elevator. The other little dude is with me that I'm fussing at. I said, man, get on here, man. Let's get this pass right, man. And we get on. So the elevator is closing. And I hear, Webb, hold that elevator. So I go like this, right? Elevators open back up. And immediately, 2 CCSD police officers rush on. And the whole time, student X has his hands, he has a hoodie on. He has his hands in his hoodie. They immediately say, be still, hold on, right? And they grab his hand. So because he's in the hoodie, right? He can't.
Yeah.
I snatched the other little dude that I'm fussing at off the elevator, right? I pull the female administrator off the elevator and it closes. And all I hear is do. And I run upstairs, the spiral steps, to go up to the second level to see what's going on. By the time I get up there and the doors open, they got my man in handcuffs, right? And they gave the code. He's got a 415. That's a code for a weapon, handgun.
Wow.
And I never saw it until, as a matter of fact, I didn't really even see it when he caught it, because all I saw was what was in the officer's hand. I thought that was his service revolver, right? So it didn't register that day, right?
So, yeah.
Right. So the principal said, hey, you got to go downstairs and make a phone call to, and make sure that, communication knows about this and the CCSD and everything. As I'm walking down, it don't even hit me. It ain't really hit me till I got interviewed by, some people in the district and everything. And they were commending me about how I handled it. And it was a great strategy to kind of distract him with the whole, restroom flooding and everything. And, and it didn't hit me until another administrator, showed me a cell phone and said, this is what they pulled off of me. And I was like, oh, this really did go down, right? Because I was just in that moment.
Okay, so that's a lot to let's break some of this down, because for those who don't know, I've been to Mojave and a couple of times, and you might have took me through that. So I don't know if that's the same quad you took me through last time when I was there. Yeah, okay. I know exactly what he's talking about. And I'll tell you guys straight up. And I was just speaking of you to a group of people before this even happened, how I said, man, you guys need to check Webb out one day. You got to go see him in his element. I said, because he's got a presence and a command that, the kids might not always like it, but there is respect there. You can see it. And what he's saying he does, I saw when we were walking the halls, he checked a couple of folk on them passes. I mean, that's what he does. How long have you been in education real quickly? Just
Oh man, this will be 29th year.
years of experience in education. So,
29.
this is, you've been working with kids, but something like this, I don't know if I've ever heard you talk about before. And so let's go real bit. First of all, to even have the guts to go into that bathroom with the knowledge of there could be a potential student with a firearm in there waiting on you, or don't know he might, even to open that door, I don't know if a lot of people would have the courage to even do that. Like when you're first opening that door, are you just like, I don't know what, thankfully he was maybe in a stall, but he might have been loading up. You don't know what was even behind the door. What was your thought process just opening that door initially in the bathroom?
Well, so that's a good question, but this kid and I have a relationship.
I'm sorry, I asked you that first thing. Did you know this kid?
Yeah, I did know the kid.
Okay.
I do a program called SOS, School on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's a program that I established back in 2012 at the high school. We were getting a lot of complaints about suspension numbers going up, and they were like, "Webb, Commissioner, you got to bring these numbers down. That's a great disparity of African American males, special needs students getting suspended. Can you come up with something, to reduce these numbers of kids getting suspended during, Monday through Friday, during instructional time? You got to preserve it." And I came up with a program called the SOS, School on Saturday, right? Instead of kicking kids out of school Monday through Friday, let's kick kids into school on Saturdays, right? Let's get them on a time, right? And let's get them to the school. And it's a program that is from 9 to 12 on Saturdays, right? And he had actually was commissioned to come earlier in the school year on Saturday, right? And I had it's opportunity to do some community service with the kids, opportunity to do some character education, right? And a little bit of tutoring if we have time for that. I'm gonna be honest with you, we don't really hit the tutoring part. We do more life lessons, right? How to handle this situation. Matter of fact, I had a lesson once on, how to code switch, right? How to respond if you get pulled over by the police. You don't be talking about, are you profiling me and all this other stuff? What's your badge number? No, yes, sir. No, sir. How may I help you? And then I go through, trying to keep these young brothers right. That type of stuff we did. I established a relationship with him. And so you said, was my mindset going in that restroom? I'd established a relationship with him, right?
See, and that is so important. And because I think even him hearing your voice, if he's in the stall, it might have even put him a little more at ease. And again, I'm not trying to down law enforcement, but had he heard, hands up or get up, that might have startled him or made him, but the fact that you had some kind of rapport with this student to hear your voice, it might have actually put him at ease. So that's first of all good to know. But second, then you come up with the plan, the flooded bathroom and things like that. How are you? You just coming up with this on the fly, right? You just right.
Yeah. So just on the fly. Listen. So I'm an actor by nature, right? Right. And the majority of the time, it's funny because the majority of the time, I'm in this position on this job. 75% is just me acting, right? Acting like I'm mad or acting like I'm, heartbroken or acting like and I'm really putting on. It's just a performance. And in that moment, it just, like I said, by the grace of God, it just dropped on me. How do I get him out? And I concur with you. I think it was, hey, this is Webb, man. I got to shut this back.
Right.
right? Just like that, right? And I believe him hearing my voice and knowing, our past relationships, kind of maybe put him at more at ease. Because at any time, I'm thinking about this all after the fact.
Right.
That knowing you riding dirty,
Yeah. Yep.
right? And I'm going up to Webb's office, and part of my job, we do what's called student safety searches, right? Where, if we have probable cause, they smell like marijuana or liquor or whatever, we do basic search, right? We don't do the strip search and, spread eagle, but we ask kids if they have anything on them that's going to break a school rule, right? And we go from there. But he's been through that process.
Mm-hmm.
So, but him like knowing me and having that past relationship, I think, like you said, was key. Because he could have bolted, knowing he was riding dirty. And I wasn't gonna chase him neither. I was gonna let him go because that was a signal that he was in possession of something. But he just rolled with me, and no, it just came up. It was just on the fly.
And so then, another great tactic. We're breaking it down, but I'm sure this is all happening so fast. The other student, the hall pass that he has, and it's kind of faulty, and to use that as more leverage. Because again, as you find out, he is riding dirty. So even as much comfortable as he is with you, it's like with your parents. If you got something you ain't supposed to have, you're still nervous, and you don't want nothing to set you off. He doesn't maybe know that and it's one of those things, I don't know, and all that. So you're trying to balance this. Brilliant move to just kind of diffuse it with the other student because it is distracting him. It's like, I'm sure you're just kind of with the other student doing what you normally do, so he's used to that. And so at that point,
yep, that's it.
What would have happened then? Because again, you say you get on the elevator and somebody says hold it, and the officers come. But what would have happened if you guys had went up the elevator to your office? Did you know then, or were you going to kind of play that by ear?
Playing it by ear. Like I said, paint the train while it was moving, because like I said, I didn't have an exit plan, man. So in going back over it, how something after the fact you realize, whoo.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking like, man, I don't know what, because he was riding dirty, right?
Right.
He was right. Had we got up there, I don't know what I would have did. I have no idea. There was a situation a couple right before Christmas break where young lady was in my office and she had an air pistol, right? And that blew my mind.
Yeah.
She had got sent to my office because one of the teachers said she smelled like marijuana, and she admitted that she had it, right? And I was like, well, you got to come up with it, and she says, before you look in there, I got something there. I said, well, you said you got marijuana. She said, no, I was like, what? And she said, I got a gun. I was like, whoa. So then I put the bag down. It just so happened one of the school police officers was right outside my office, and I called him in, and then he took over the search after that.
Yeah.
And he said, now what's in here? And she said, oh, but she said it's a toy. It's a toy gun, like one of those old Wild Western.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I felt a little, my heart came back. It came back to me because I was like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that. So he opens up and he goes, whoa. And I'm like, if he went whoa, and he pulls it out, and sure enough, it was it looked like a it looked exactly like.
Yeah, no, they do. They look.
And he said, no, he said this is a good replica. And then he started put the shell casings out, and it was air pistol.
Yeah.
But
no, they look very much like the real thing.
At that moment, I was like, whoa, but I was, like I said, it was a different scenario because I already got the heads up that he possibly
Right.
And I didn't tell you this part, but the brother didn't have no backpack. You know, he didn't have a backpack. He didn't have any books, no computer, no nothing.
Wow.
He just was rolling.
Okay. Okay.
He just was rolling with it, you know.
I mean, it's God knows what could have happened. And that, but I can't stress enough, because we've unfortunately seen some situations where people who are officers or security officers at schools and didn't quite do their job or went the other way. You know what I mean? So for you to get that code and immediately go into action, it just speaks to the person you are. Because again, a lot of people would have been like, oh, okay, hold on, let me think, you know, call somebody else. I ain't ready. Because I mean, it's easy to talk. Everybody say what they would have done. I would have ran up there and all that. But again, in these times and the things that we've seen, unfortunately, would have happened in schools and businesses and terrible, terrible stories, something might go through your mind like, man, is this the best thing for me to be doing? Am I looking, I mean, you know what I mean? You've got, you know, family of your own, you know what I mean? And things like that. But to move like you did, and thankfully, you know, and again, even the timing. So you said, well, I'm one more time, I want to go over that. So you said you're on the elevator, ready to go up. It's you, the potential suspect, the kid and the administrator, and you said right before the doors closed.
So okay, so the Angels on assignment. It had to be.
Yeah.
But the timing was just bam. Because had the door closed, right? I thought about had the door closed, then school police would have ran up the steps,
Right.
right? And they would have met. They would have been when the doors open. Man, it ain't no telling, because he's got more seconds to respond.
And
right?
you said his hands were already in his hoodie pockets.
Yeah.
See, so wow.
Man, so it's like, and I'm just gonna tell the truth. The female administrator on there, I think she might have said something to trigger, because
Right.
she didn't know what was going on. The last thing she had heard was, if you see him,
Yeah.
right? So my mind is like, I hope she don't just. And matter of fact, I had a conversation with her afterwards. She was like, well, I didn't know you was putting on a show about, I was wondering why you was talking about this past, because you
Right.
was just playing it up. And I was like, does Webb know this brother that we looking for is
Yeah.
standing behind him and he worried about a past? I was like, it's all part of the, it's all part of the process.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't blow it. No, it was like you said, that timing was just like, I couldn't have, I mean,
Think about it. I mean, if you let the bathroom get going a little too long, maybe the officers rush them right there and there's a problem. Or if you cut it too short, y'all get upstairs and like you said, they're waiting. It literally was a perfect timing for them to kind of jump in, surprise him, keep his hands right there. And, you know, again, there's no telling what could happen. And we're glad we're not dealing with what could have happened.
right. So another caveat, check this out. So this was 15 minutes before lunch.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is 15 minutes or so before lunch.
Yeah.
Right. And I had to go back and everybody that was in the process, I had to go back and thank them, like I said, for doing their job. Right. And we ain't perfect, right? Because I ain't saying that. But that day, everybody did their job.
Yeah.
The girls at the switchboard making a call, right? My secretary pulling me aside, you know, her being at her post, right? And then relaying that to me and me getting down there. And then there was another campus supervisor who was like looking around, is that him? Is that him? Her not approaching, you know, it just was like boom, boom, boom. 15 minutes before lunch, the motive is still unknown why he was up there with the handgun and the two clips, right? Why? You know, why? So we don't know to this day, right? He still hasn't divulged that. But in my mind, you know, once it all just settled, I'm like, man, this would have been bad 15 minutes later. Or had he went to class, or had he ended up in, we got 3,300 plus students, you know, turned loose at lunch. I mean, how they could have just, so it was just like boom, 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 boom.
So
And
you said I didn't know that he had 2 extra clips.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. See, I didn't know that. And like you said, I again hate to speculate, don't want to know, don't want to speculate too much. But again, yeah,
Right.
wait lunch hour to come out, and you don't know what could have been and what his mindset was. And again, I can't stress enough the fact that you had rapport with him, you spent time with him, that even with that SOS program that you started, who knows, just again, for that door to open and him to hear your voice, as opposed to someone else he might not know or might not be as familiar with, might have been the difference. I mean, I honestly believe it really could have been the difference between what could have been a terrible tragedy. But that goes to the work. And sometimes, folks, it's the stories we don't know. You know what I mean? We'll hear about, oh, the FBI stopped the big thing, but we'll hear that one story, but the FBI didn't probably stop 85 things the last weekend that we don't know about, that they just, and these are some of the things. And that's why I was so adamant to have you on, man, because like I said, as soon as I saw Mojave gun recovered, I said, Webb was in that somehow. He did something. And then to hear the story, I want to really commend you and all the others. Again, we had a couple incidents here in Las Vegas, and thankfully, some other people intervened at other schools because they recovered a couple. And so shout out to whoever those administrators were, or law enforcement, whoever did their job. Please know we appreciate it, because Las Vegas has already had a mass shooting tragedy in our history, a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrible. And we're working hard. But I want to end with this though. What is it, do you feel like, in your 29, I think it's 29 years education.
Yeah, 30 years almost.
What, and real quick, shout out to even the guardian of that young man, because if that person doesn't make a call, y'all have no idea.
Yes. Yeah.
Now you're not even on alert, you have no idea. But is there still a disconnect in terms of the prevailing, the shadow of violence with these with the young people, and more now than it was before? I mean, it's always been bad, and schools and violence, but it just seems like this is something that you guys have to deal with all the time. Is it widening and getting worse?
So that's an outstanding question. I don't know if you knew this or not, but each day in America, 12 students die from gun violence. 12 a day. Wow. Across the board in America, right? And guess what? 338,000 since, and I hate to say it like this, but Columbine is like the, let's say the hallmark or the bench. It's really the benchmark when it really came to our consciousness about school shooting. You say Columbine, everybody knows what that is, right? But since then, 338,000, situations at school with gun violence, right? And that was in 1999. So we're talking about almost 25 years. It's gotten worse. There were 46 deaths in 2022, right? And it's nuts, right? But and it is getting worse, right? And I believe, and I'm trying to throw the NRA under the bus or nothing like that, but just right to bear arms, Second Amendment, everything. It don't help, right? The internet, right? You can order. There's kids out here that can, go online and have a handgun or a weapon or drugs, what have you, delivered to their house, right? Because the internet shrinks the world to make everything more accessible than in times past. So, man, all we can just pray, man. And I thank God, and I appreciate you giving a shout out to the other schools that I heard something yesterday. There was people were complaining. Oh, the school district is out of control, and I said, don't fool yourself. There's guns on campus everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that not one shot was fired, because 5 were not one shot, not one student injured, goes to the fact that, and I gotta say this, man, I gotta give a shout out to the prayer agenda. It's on my church's prayer agenda.
Yeah,
right.
God is God, yeah.
Right, to lawlessness and mayhem and violence on campus, for the CC. So that I gotta get that in, because that right there, I believe, uh, that preventative measure was put in place. That so in that instant, you know, there was coverage. Um, we need more. What we need more of is, you know, positive black males. I'm just gonna say it in our schools, right?
So, yeah.
They
Yeah.
we have to have it. There has to be, you know, we have over a million men of color in prison, right? And 80% of them are fathers,
Hmm.
right? And these kids are getting fathered or raised how to be a man somewhere, right? Whether it's through the gang or whether it's through, you know, social media, whether it's through, you know, music, whatever. Somebody's teaching you how, you know, to respect money and how to treat women, right? That's who your father is, right? So we need more positive black male in these brothers' lives. And because hair triggered, man, it can jump off. And my voice, I get, man, I get complaints all the time about Webb, you know, you too rough on the kids. Webb, you got to tone it down. Webb, and I was like, listen, the voice they hear, the reason why they have a problem with my voice, because they never heard the voice
Right.
of a real father, right? And I put it like this, I'll leave you with this. 50% of the kids hate me, and 50% of the kids used to hate me at Mojave, right? Because what they do is they hear the voice and they push back, right? Oh, you ain't my daddy. You can't tell me what to do. But somewhere along the line, through building those relationships and that consistency, seeing me every day, saying the same thing, put them pants up. You better watch that language. Chill out, man. Think about, make a quality decision. They realize, oh, okay, he's really trying to help me.
Yeah.
And then they end up flipping and being converted, and you know, and end up, yeah, hey, Mr. Webb, I got an A on my paper. Hey, Mr. Webb, guess what?
Yes.
And it's just it's relationship.
Yes. And the word you said, consistency. Like you just said, a lot of these young folks, it's not their fault. Their parent is locked up, or they mama, or there's drugs, or the father just left them, whatever. Them kids didn't ask for that. But to see you every day, when they might not even see their own parent every day, that consistency, yep, there's a wall, we know, but to just chip away. And like I said, the respect factor that builds it. And then when you get older, you realize, wow, you know what? You always remember the teachers and the administrators that really impacted you like that. You never forget that. Even I still remember ones that even helped me out. But I can't commend it enough, man. Again, I don't want you to ever even have to have another story like this. You know, pray to God you don't.
I'm good. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, you know.
I got my one story.
I want to say this, unsolicited from Webb, but I hope that somebody from the Las Vegas Public Schools Administration watches this and sees that you got a good man here. And you might want to maybe put him in some other areas just other than Mojave, because he's great. Without that SOS program, he might not have had to report with the student like that. And he came up with that. So I'm just gonna, he didn't ask me to do that. I'm saying that. And I also want to end too with, we talked about prayer, and you know, a lot of times when something happens, a terrible tragedy, we send thoughts and prayers. And I'll say this, people always say, well, oh man, what's thoughts and prayers gonna do? How about we start the prayers before?
Oh, there you go.
Let's do that then. Okay, yeah,
That's,
I know we want to send our love and condolences after a tragedy,
after
but
the
if we
fact.
pray before, then maybe we could prevent a whole lot more of these. You know?
No, you man, that's a whole nother conversation. It's all right to pray in school after the fact. We gonna do a prayer visual, but
Okay.
y'all ain't got no problem with bowing your heads then after the fact. But when we want to do something before the fact, you got problems.
right.
Oh, separation of school and church and everything. I'm just saying. So
Yeah, anyway, I ain't saying, I'm just saying. But Mr. Webb, I want to appreciate you, man. Again, I mean, and I go, he his family. This is my man, known him my whole life. And your wife is also a teacher at the school.
yeah,
You know, so you know, you fully invested. I mean, it's a family affair. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it. I hope the students, even if they don't, maybe today, tomorrow, or a month from now, appreciate it even more. But thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for sharing the story. That's courage. Like I said, courage in the fire that you don't see with everybody. But we appreciate you so much, and all those like you. Shout out to these teachers working hard. Y'all ain't hardly getting paid enough. I mean, the administrators, the vice principals, the security officers, everybody doing your job just to help these kids get through this thing called life. We appreciate you and we salute you, man. Thank you
No,
so much.
it's a pleasure.
Yes, guys, check us out some more. This is the shareholders version of Channel 5, where we like to do the interviews and things like that, but we'll be back. Got a great interview coming up next week as well. Please check us out, stay with us, subscribe, and like as always, guys, I want you to be blessed, stay sharp. Appreciate you, bro.
It's all good. Thanks for having me. You see, I got the shout out, right? You see,
Yeah, I meant to say, I see you. I appreciate you so much. Yes, sir.
yeah.
Praying on me. Yeah. I be running to the hills when it's coming my help. I be running to the hills when it's coming my help.